In this video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways to self-host n8n. We're going to start with the easiest method and then move on to the more complicated methods. I'm going to talk about the pricing for different options and then also the advantages and disadvantages when it comes to these different options when it comes to self-hosting n8n. Self-hosting has a lot of advantages, the biggest being the fact that you have full control over your data and it's very private, and also the fact that you can utilize open source large language models from Ollama or other platforms to completely run everything locally on your machine or on these cloud servers where you can scale as your needs grow. This is going to be a super useful video, so make sure you stick until the end because you're going to learn a lot about self-hosting and the different options that are available for n8n. Before we jump into the video, I have a few very quick announcements. The first, that I'm partnering with Cole. He has a great YouTube channel. Him and I will be working on a few great projects that are upcoming that I'm super excited about. So more details upcoming on that one. Another one, that I've officially joined the n8n Ambassador Program. The Ambassador Program is great where we'll get to hold events. So in the next quarter, I'll be holding in-person events in the San Francisco area because I'm the n8n Ambassador for the San Francisco Bay Area in California. So there's going to be a lot of exciting things that are going to be coming from that side. So make sure you stay tuned and look out for those announcements. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zubair. My YouTube channel, my school community is all about building incredible AI agents that are useful for businesses and for personal use cases. We have a great community where everybody is passionate about building amazing AI agents and workflows and automations. A lot of the folks on my school community are business owners, so it's a great way for you to join and network with like-minded individuals who are serious about learning and jumping into this world of automation and AI, in particular with n8n. We have a great classroom section where you can jump in and learn everything about n8n. We have deep dive topics about vector databases, all things AI agents, when to use which agent for one purpose. And then also I have daily calls where you can jump in, and if you have any questions, you can always ask me there. But also we have our Ask and Assist channel where you can post a question and somebody will get to you within a few hours with the response. I'll put the link in the description. Hopefully I'll see you there. All right, let's get started with the video. All right, so n8n has really great docs on docs.n8n.io. /hosting. So there's a lot of great guides there that talks about the different options that are available, but I'm gonna choose and talk about the 5 most popular ways to self-host n8n. The first one, I'm gonna start with the easiest one, which is through the Node Package Manager or NPM. So we're gonna walk through and do this because this is a very easy way to self-host n8n on your local computer, where you will essentially run n8n for free on your local machine. This has a lot of advantages when it comes to privacy because again, you're running everything on your local machine and therefore you'll be able to connect to local large language models through Ollama or other platforms as well. So the easiest ways to do this is basically go to your terminal, whether your MacBook or on a PC machine. I'm on MacBook, so I'm going to go ahead and walk through step by step on how to install this. If you're not familiar with NPM or Node Package Manager, make sure you watch my previous videos when I talk about information on how Node works in general. But anyways, if you're new to this, all you have to do is search for Node.js. And this is where you will go ahead and jump into their website. It's nodejs.org, and you will download the Node.js here. If you already have it in your machine, then the way to check it is if you go to your terminal, all you have to do is just do node-v, and this will show the version of Node that's installed on your computer. So I already have this Node installed, and then also you have to install Node Package Manager as well. If you don't have that, or if you have it on your computer, you want to make sure and check npm-v, and this will show you the Node package version that's installed on your computer. And you can go ahead and update that if you have an older version installed. All right, so once you do that, all we need to do is just create a folder first of all. So I'm going to do mkdir. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch to my desktop first. So I'm going to cd to desktop, and then I'm going to do mkdir, and I'm just going to say n8n-npm. All right. So now that we have created that folder, I'm going to cd into it. Okay, so now that I've cd'd into my folder here, and the reason why I'm creating a folder is because you want to make sure that you're putting all your dependencies or everything related to n8n on that particular folder in case you need to go ahead and access it in the future. All right, so while when I'm here, all I have to do is do npm-install-g, and the reason I'm doing -g is because we want to install n8n globally. And then I'm just going to say n8n, and that's pretty much it. So all you have to do is just type this one line of code, you're going to press enter, and this is going to install all of the packages and everything that's related to n8n that's required for it to run on your local machine. So again, the big advantage of running n8n via npm is that this is going to be completely 100% on your machine locally. The disadvantage is that if you don't have a powerful computer, so if you don't, I have the M4 MacBook Pro, so I have a pretty good computer to run things locally on my machine. So this is not going to be that big of a problem for me because I have 24 gigabytes of RAM. And then in general, if I'm running smaller models on my local computer, it's very easy to do. So that's why for me, it's a good option. Sometimes I use this when I'm testing things locally. But if you have a computer that is, if the RAM is not big enough, then you might want to consider other options that I'll show in the next few steps. But once this is installed, so once the packages are installed, your n8n is basically ready to be run on your computer. So all I have to do is now type n8n and press enter. And now this is going to start n8n, and it's going to show you that right now it is running on localhost 5678. So now I can just press O and it's going to open the browser. So if I press O, oops, right here, as you can see right now, it's showing me that it is run on my localhost 5678. And again, if you don't press the O from on your terminal, you can just copy and come to localhost 5678, and this is gonna bring you to the same space. If this is your first time running this is gonna show up the sign up form where you need to fill in the information to sign up. But if you already have an account, which I already do, then you will just sign in via your email and password, and then you'll be good to go. So that's the easiest way to do it. So the second method I'm going to show you is using Docker. So this is the preferred method when it comes to running n8n locally on your machine, because Docker is great. It puts everything together and it will have consistent performance regardless of where you're using n8n, because it will be installed inside of a container where you don't need to worry about any environment related issues, or you don't need to worry about dependencies that n8n needs in order for it to run successfully. Docker is gonna basically take care of all of that. So that's why this is such a great way to run n8n locally if you're looking to run everything on your machine. All right, so the way to do this is you're gonna go to docker.com and you will download the Docker desktop app. You want to make sure you're downloading the proper app. So I'm going to use the download for Mac Apple Silicon. So once you click on that, this is going to get downloaded, and I'm going to go now to my applications, or you can just click the image there. So now Docker has been installed. So I'm going to move this over to my applications, and this is going to install Docker on my local computer. So once that's done, so now I'm going to go ahead and open my applications here, and I'm going to click on Docker. If you have an account, go ahead and sign up or create an account and you can sign in, or you can just skip this part and then it will take you directly to this page where this will show you the containers, the images, and everything else. So we don't have to worry about the volumes, builds, or anything like that right now. So the way to install n8n through Docker is you need to come to the images section here, and you're going to click on search images to run. Here you will search for n8n, and this is going to pull up all the different images that are within Docker where you can pull. And again, the way to install this via Docker is you're going to click on pull. So first thing is you want to make sure that you are using the n8n io/n8n, and as you can see right here next to it, it says there's been 100 million plus pulls. So you want to make sure you click on this one, and all I have to do is just click on pull. So now this is going to pull all of the dependencies and everything related to n8n into my local machine. So now if we give it a couple of seconds, so now as you can see right now, this is being downloaded and the image got pulled now. Download newer image for n8n. All right, so that's good to go now. So now all we have to do is click, and if we go to the containers tab quickly, right now you can see the container is empty. And if you want to find out more information about what container is or how it works within Docker, make sure you click on this little 5-minute video guide here. But anyways, I'm going to go back to images. I'm going to click on the run button right here under actions. So there's some optional settings here. So one of the ones that I always like to do is I want to make sure that my port is 5678, or you can assign a different port as well. And again, this is, I'll show that in a little bit, where earlier, like we used for npm, this will be the local port or a local host port number that we need to identify. But this one, we just want to make sure that 5678 matches the port number TCP here. So all you have to do is just put 5678. The volumes, again, this is optional. You don't have to put this, but if you want to create a folder on your local machine and you want everything to match to the container path, you can do that here. But for now, we're going to leave it as it is. So I'm going to click on run here. So once I do, this is going to run that. And as you can see right here in the bottom, it says editor is now accessible via localhost 5678. So now if we just go and copy and paste this, if I go to my browser now, let me actually turn off the terminal here because otherwise it's going to have a conflict. Terminate. All right, so now if I go ahead and go to my localhost 5678, this is going to now pull up this set up your account with n8n. So again, because earlier I deleted my n8n on my Docker image, so that way I can show you how to do this from the first step. This is what shows up, meaning now I have to set up a new account. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't think this will allow me because I think I already have an account with this email, but let's go ahead and try this. I'm going to click on next step. Oh, there you go. Perfect. All right. So this one, I'll just click on get started and skip this. But here it is. Right now you have your n8n instance running on your local machine via this Docker setup. So as long as your container is running, as you can see right here, I can click on stop here. So if you want to stop this, then next time you go to localhost 5678, it's not going to work. But because right now it's running, everything is good to go. That's why I'm able to access this, and now I can create my workflows just like I would be creating in my cloud account. All right, so that's good to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Docker container, and I'm going to click on stop. So once I do this now, that container is no longer running. So if I go back and refresh the page, you will see right now that this is not going to work. It says the site can't be reached because obviously our Docker container, we stopped it right here. But if I click on this play button again, this is going to run. So if I go ahead and refresh the page, this is going to take me back to my workflow. So it's very, very simple. That's why, like I said, this is one of the best ways, in my opinion, this is the best way to run n8n if you want to run it on your local machine. All right, let's jump into now. We're going to move from our local machine to a third-party cloud hosting version. So there are different ways to host n8n on the cloud. There's several options that are available based on your need, because there's a lot of advantages when it comes to hosting your n8n on a third-party cloud server. So for example, when it comes to scaling, so if you are using n8n and as your needs grow and you want to be able to utilize a cloud server that scales as you grow, then that's where the big advantage of cloud hosting comes in. So basically you can think of hosting your n8n in these cloud servers, which acts as a virtual machine, meaning that you can have all your infrastructure and all your data stored in a local environment, but on a cloud service provider. We're going to focus on two of the most popular ones. And again, there's several ways to do this, but the two most popular way, the first one is the queue mode, which we're going to utilize the Railway app. This, in my opinion, is the easiest and the cheapest way, and it's also very useful when it comes to scalability. And then the next one is going to be via DigitalOcean. But let's walk through the queue mode. So the queue mode basically provides the best scalability option. So the way this works, again, I'm going to put the link in the description here for this particular guide that n8n provided, and this is great. But the way it works is that when you're running in queue mode, you basically have multiple n8n instance set up. One is the main instance, and then because the main instance is going to receive webhooks, triggers, and then afterwards there's going to be worker instances that's going to be providing all these executions. And at the bottom they have this image right here. We're also going to utilize in this particular queue mode version, there's a Redis that sits right in the center, and Redis is basically a message broker that sits in the middle where it will maintain the queue of these pending executions that are coming in from the main instance of n8n, and it's going to send it over to the worker instance, where then these worker instances picks that message from Redis and completes that workflow automation, and then that gets written on the n8n database, and it gets posted back to Redis that the execution is complete. Again, if you want to understand more, please take a look at this guide. They explain this step by step of how all of this works. But anyway, I'm going to walk through and show you step by step on how to host n8n on this Railway app. So the first thing you need to do is you need to head over to railway.app. You're going to head over to the login page. and you're going to create an account. Actually, first of all, I'll just quickly talk about pricing here. So there's different pricing plans based on whatever your need is. If you're just using this for personal use, then this hobby plan, which is $5 a month, this is going to be perfectly fine for you because it provides you 8 gigabytes of RAM, and that's plenty if you're just using this for your own projects. So that way, the advantage of this is that you don't lose any of your workflows. If you lose your local computer or machine breaks down, whatever, this basically gives you that option to access n8n locally on a third-party server. So if you're using it for your personal use, please go ahead and use this $5 a month, which is the hobby plan. So I'm going to click on sign up for Railway. I haven't done this, so I'm going to do this step by step with you guys. All right, so I'm going to put my email here. Once you do that, click on email. So click this security code copy. I'm going to go to my email here. So now I've received this message. I'm going to click on log into Railway. So this is going to log me in, and I'm going to paste that code right here, the security code. And now we're good to go. So let's go ahead and close this down. I'm going to go back, refresh the page. All right, so now we're good to go here. So make sure you accept the term of services. I'm going to click on agree here. This is going to go ahead and do what it needs to do. I'll not deploy any of that related to miners or everything. All right, so once you create your account, you're going to come here to your plans. We're going to go ahead and deploy with hobby. We're going to come here to the bottom, scroll to the bottom. I'm just going to say deploy with hobby. So this is where you'll put your credit card number. I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so once you put your credit card number, you're going to click on subscribe to hobby plan, and this will process your $5 payment. And now we're good to go. So all we need to do is now head over to railway.app/templates. And these are all the different templates that are available for different use cases. And actually, if you just go over to the most popular, n8n is the most popular Railway app. So all you have to do is just click on most popular, or you can just search for it. And there's several n8n templates, but the best one is this n8n workflow. As you can see, if you just search n8n, all of these different templates will show up. And again, just to be clear, this is not by the n8n team. This is a community run project, but the most popular one is the one that was created by Jack, I believe. Let me go back to most popular. Yeah, this is the one that is the most popular one. And if I click on this, now you can see that, yeah, this is by Jack. And you can see that this has 100% success on recent deploys, and there's a lot of people who are using this. So just a quick thing right here. So this is what's this is going to include. So it's going to include the primary n8n instance that we just talked about earlier, as far as this flow right here. So it will include that primary n8n instance. It's going to have the worker n8n. It's going to have Redis, and it's going to have Postgres as well. And again, if you want to find more information, please feel free to do some research on this. But anyways, what we're going to do is now leave everything as it is. We're just going to click on deploy now. And once you click on deploy now, this will give you the option to configure these different options. But we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to deploy all these 4 services. So all you have to do is click on deploy. Now you're going to let this deploy properly. This is going to take a few seconds to get deployed. As you can see right now, Postgres got deployed, Redis got deployed, and then these 2 are currently deploying. So you're just going to let that process, and then afterwards we can go ahead and complete the next step. So I'm going to give this a few seconds for this to get processed. Just refresh the page because we want to make sure that everything is properly deployed, and I think we're good to go. So now what you're going to do is you're going to come and click on the primary here. And once you do, you will see here that this is active. So in order to access our n8n now, all we have to do is head over to the setting. If we click on setting, this will be all of the different information that's available for this particular primary n8n instance. If you have a custom domain that you would like to deploy this on, you can come here and click on custom domain and add a domain, and then you will also add a port. If you would like to provide a custom port, you can do that, but I'm not going to use a custom domain. I'm just going to utilize this URL right here. So now all you have to do is just copy this, head over to your new tab, paste it, and now you have an instance of n8n that's ready and deployed on your server and Railway, where you can have access to this from anywhere you want. So go ahead and create a username and password. So let me go ahead and do that quickly. Password. All right, click next. And now essentially I have the same. I'm going to go ahead and skip this. So now I have access to my n8n on that's running in this URL. And again, if you want to run that on a different domain, make sure you go ahead and change that custom domain name. So that's another really easy way, and the easiest way in my opinion, to run n8n on a cloud server like Railway. All right, great. So another great way to run n8n on a third-party cloud service is doing it via DigitalOcean. Now, I've already done a step-by-step tutorial on how to do this, so I'm going to put the link in the description on the video because that's a long video, because I go through it step-by-step and explain how to do everything. This is probably the most complicated way to run n8n or host n8n on a digital server, but this is also extremely comprehensive because this gives you that ability to host n8n on a digital platform where it'll give you the ability to actually scale as your needs grow. And DigitalOcean is essentially a virtual machine. So you will go ahead and click on the droplets here. And as you can see right here, it says virtual machines anyone can set up in seconds. So this is basically what they refer to as droplets, meaning that you can create a basic or a general purpose droplet where then as your needs grow. So for example, if you have a enterprise application, then DigitalOcean can give you even more options of things like CPU memory. You can rent GPUs, which will give you the option to run even more powerful large language models in your local hosted version. Again, I say local hosted because this is you're technically locally hosting this, not in your own machine, but on a digital service like DigitalOcean, because this gives you that optionality of controlling all of your data without the need to have a very powerful machine or without the need for you to run your own GPUs, because this gives you that option to host everything and run everything online. Again, you have access to NVIDIA H100 chips. So again, there's like lots of optionalities and lots of available options for you depending on your use case. That's why DigitalOcean becomes is one of the most popular ways to use. And again, I have already done a step-by-step tutorial on this. So if you're interested in using this method, please feel free to check that out. I'll put the link in the description for this one. So that's the fourth way. The fifth way is kind of a bonus one, but this is also done via the n8n self-host package. So if you come to n8n docs, in the bottom right here, you can click on n8n AI starter kit. So this, I've used this before. This is great. Again, I've done a step-by-step tutorial on this as well, so I'll put the link in the description. So this self-hosted AI starter kit is great because it includes Ollama, Quadrant, and PostgreSQL. So Ollama obviously is a platform that you can utilize open source large language models, so you can interact with it directly through this self-hosted package that n8n has already provided to us. And again, this is curated by n8n. This is on their GitHub page. So I think there's a link right here. If you click on GitHub repository right here, you can see the different guides here. All you have to do is come down here and use these few commands that they provide for you. So depending on what your use case is, so if you have an NVIDIA GPU, you can use this method. Or if you want to run this locally on your machine, you can go ahead and just clone this, CD into that self-hosted AI starter kit folder. And then if you are a Mac user, all you have to do is just say Docker compose up, and this will run everything for you and install all the dependencies. It will install Ollama, Quadrant, which is a open source vector database. It's a great vector database. And then also the workhorse of data engineering, what they talk about, which is the PostgreSQL. And again, if you're used to, or if you're not familiar with that, feel free to check that out because there's a lot of great guide as far as what Postgres is and what it's used and all of the different functionalities that you can utilize within n8n. So that's kind of the fifth option. Again, this self-hosted AI starter kit, I did a step-by-step tutorial, so I'm going to put the link in the description on that one, so that way you can utilize this because this is a great option. But essentially you will be using Docker because all of this will be installed through your terminal, but they will all have Docker images and Docker containers. And once you run that self-hosted AI starter kit, it will run everything simultaneously. So that way everything is sitting in the same container for better performance for your workflows. All right, so that's kind of the overall different ways to run n8n. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions, free to jump into the school community. We're always discussing different things related to self-host because a lot of people in the community are actually self-hosting n8n with these different options. Some are using Railway, some are using DigitalOcean, some are using their local machines. So there's always discussions related to the issues that might come up, or some guide that school community members would provide. I'm also going to be doing actually a vector database deep dive with Quadrant Vector Database team. So shout out to them for agreeing to do this. I will provide more information once that call is booked. I'm going to do that in the next week or so. All right, again, thanks again for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful. Like the video and subscribe because I've got some great upcoming tutorials that you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.